Hey there, guys. Sloppy here playing... Well, I'm not playing anything. I'm just going to chat. I wanted to have a talk about the Paladins Battlegrounds Alpha that came out last week. Almost exactly a week ago. Lasted 2 days. Some of the good, the bad that I liked about it, didn't like about it. You know, just have a little bit of a chat about it. In the background, some gameplay that I recorded with Old Man G Gaming. You can check him out on YouTube if you're so inclined. Does a lot of Brawlhalla and Rocket League. I don't know why it took me so long to think about that, but those are some of the games he plays. Anyway, Paladins Battlegrounds, if you guys didn't get to try it, it was out for 2 days. It was this sort of just test of some of the systems, how the game played and whatnot. They're going to have another one in like 2 weeks. That's sort of the first thing I did like about it, is that it was only 2 days long, and I didn't know it was going to be 2 days long. And I didn't really realize that they were just sort of trying out stuff, and it was going to be over so fast, and it was going to change so much. According to some of the patch notes they put out. I'm not going to talk too much about those, just sort of the one that they had and stuff I liked about it. But that was kind of a bummer that it was only 2 days long. I wish I had known when I downloaded it was going to be 2 days long. I think they said after the fact that it was going to end very abruptly and not come back for another few weeks. But either way, let's talk about some of the good and the bad that went on. Some of the good, it wasn't super loot focused, which I thought was really fun. I've been playing a bit of Fortnite and having a blast doing it, but I do find sort of the continuous looting a bit of a drag, and I liked that Paladins, you sort of had your guns and you had your objectives. You could, you know, pick up the cards and whatnot and improve your character, but it wasn't all about just trying to accumulate huge amounts of loots, and I really liked that it was more sort of about the fighting and less about the looting. But that was pretty neat. The random heroes was a lot of fun. You know, you would load into a game, you'd get 8 champions to choose from, and it was kind of fun to see who was there, who wasn't. And, you know, it kind of forced you to play some characters maybe you wouldn't play, try some new people, instead of just always going back to your comfort zone and choosing somebody that you really like. So that was kind of cool. I really liked the random hero selection. Having objectives to work towards was pretty neat. Most battle royales, battlegrounds, whatever you want to call them, I find the objective, obviously, to win and to kill everyone, but you don't really have objectives to work towards in the game other than just trying to loot up a little bit more. And with the Paladins one, you had basically cards and legendary boxes that everyone was going towards. So you would kind of, you know, pick up your cards, go to the next cards. You would find a lot of people because everyone was doing that. And I liked having the objectives because they led to a lot of fights. And there was also sort of something you were always working towards. It wasn't like, all right, where are we going now? It was like, let's go to the next card. And I liked having that sort of objective play in the Battle Royale just to sort of give you a little bit of direction. Also, it led to a lot of fights because everyone was going for the cards and the legendary boxes. So that was pretty cool. It ran very well most of the time, especially for like an early alpha that was basically their first test of this whole thing. It ran really smooth. There were some games where the first minute or so it would be absolutely awful. Your frames would be terrible, ping would be high, but it would almost always get sorted out. A lot of times there wasn't even that, and it just ran smoothly at like 150 frames, very little ping, and that was pretty cool that it ran well. The rankings were pretty neat. You basically had a ranking score, one for solo, one for duo, one for quad. Those are your game modes, and I thought those were really cool that you had a little ranking. They didn't really mean much. I think you got some like points at the end of the 2 days or something if you were in the top 500 or whatever. But it was just kind of cool that they were there. It kind of gave you something to work towards, I guess, a little bit. And the last thing I really liked about this Battlegrounds was that the games were really fast-paced. The map wasn't very big. I thought it was a really good-sized map. They were pretty fast-paced. You know, you're continuously running towards objectives. You know, there wasn't a huge amount of times where I felt like I had trouble finding people or finding a fight. You know, I thought it was really good. It was very fast-paced. There was a lot of action all the time. The circle, I thought, well, I'll talk about that in the bad section. But the circle got a little janky here and there. But I thought overall, the games were very fast-paced, which I liked. And the map was a really good size and pretty well laid out. The bad stuff, let's talk about that real fast before I end this video. I was only 2 days long. I wish I'd known that before. I put that in the bad just because I was really enjoying myself. I was having a lot of fun streaming it and whatnot, and it was kind of a bummer that it was only 2 days long. The balancing was by far the biggest issue. Apparently they're putting it into its own launcher and making its own game now, which is probably for the best, especially when it comes to balancing. Basically, Grover was the best champion by a mile. He could heal himself, he could throw long distance, he had a lot of damage. Grover was just way too overpowered for a Battlegrounds mode. Some of the heroes just were never used. You'd drop into games and it would show you the breakdown of the 8 champions, who chose who. You'd have a couple champions that would have like one person using them. You know, people like Makoa just weren't that good. The game focused a lot, I think, on like ranged combat, was a little bit better. So there was just a lot of champions that weren't used, the bouncing was all off, but for their first attempt, it wasn't as bad, I suppose, as it could have been. The last bad, because I thought it was actually a really well done alpha, if you really want to call it an alpha. I thought it was a really well done. I had a ton of fun playing this game mode. I thought it ran really well, and it was just fun, which is, you know, great to see. But the last bad thing, the map could definitely use some more detail and balancing. The map itself, you would be dropped in a random location, and you could get on and off your horse and run around, which I kind of liked. It's pretty fast to be able to run around on your horse, but the map itself definitely needs some more details. It was, I wouldn't say skimpy. It was just sort of, you could tell the map's not quite there. Apparently they're changing it quite a bit and stuff, so they probably just didn't want to put in the detail in time, but that's fine. And the circle shrunk a little too quickly towards the end of the game. You know, you'd have your original circle, and then from there on, once you got past that first sort of circle that you had to be inside of, it went really quickly and down to a really small size really rapidly, and it kind of felt strange. If you got too late into games, it became a very sort of awkward circle size, I think. But either way, I thought this alpha was really cool. I'm hoping they don't change it too much. From some of the patch notes they put out, it seems like they're adding in a lot of the stuff that I thought their game benefited from a little bit differently than some of the other Battlegrounds. But all in all, I had a ton of fun playing this alpha. I'm really excited for next week or 2 weeks from now when they put out the sort of next testing of this game mode they're making. I'm just excited to play it some more. It was really cool. I had a blast. And yeah, let me know what you guys' thoughts was. If you played the alpha, please let me know what you think in the comments down below, because I would love to talk about this a bit more, see what you guys liked about it, didn't like about it, what you think they should change going into the next alpha. I think if you balance the characters a little bit, I think it'd be a great game mode. You know, balance the characters a little bit, make the map a little bit better, and I think it would be great. But let me know if maybe you guys do want the loot stuff a little bit more focused. You know, you could pick up guns and whatever. I don't know. I thought having the characters was kind of a cool twist as opposed to looting for the guns and abilities. But let me know what you think in the comments. I would love to have a chat down there with you guys. Subscribe for more. Leave a like on this video. And hopefully we can find out what they changed very soon. I'll see you guys then. Ciao.